What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Deeptronica, and we're continuing with the self-titled album from 2009, and I say self-titled, but we know this is a Vince Clarke album, and as I've said at multiple points along the way, maybe the most compelling music I've ever heard Vince Clarke make, which is a large statement, of course, speaking about someone who was involved in the first album of Depeche Mode and who made the Yazoo material and Erasure material and VCMG making some techno, which again at some point I really do mean to get back to that, and in that regard shout out to Mr. Solo who shared both Deeptronica and VCMG with me. But yeah, as I said, I'm into Psybient and downtempo and electronica to a great degree, as people who follow my channel will know, and discovering that Vince Clarke has made music in this type of territory has been a revelation, and I feel like more should be made of this album. You know, it's nothing that I ever heard of, but I feel like the quality of the tunes has been immense. Now, as I think, Chris had commented on, like concurring with what I've observed, it's only a shame that some of these tracks are so short. If they were, 6-7 minute tunes, I think it would be even better. Though I do also understand seemingly what the approach was, the idea of just some scene setting, just some atmosphere, mood type tracks, not necessarily trying to make full, like, again, 7 minute like Psybient tunes. So yeah, again, this is a really incredible album. We are getting close to the end of it. There are 2 tracks left, including this one, which is Time Squared. So a couple things, like one, these are electronica tunes, and I don't think, have any of them had vocals? I don't think so. Maybe like a sample or two, but by and large they're electronica tracks, so I don't expect there to be any meaning per se beyond like something that you could infer conceptually based on the sounds. But yeah, I would say that it's one, playing off of like Times Square, but secondarily the idea of time being manipulated or processing or unfolding in a way that is different than we experience normally down here on Earth. So the idea of a cosmic tune where time is not the same as it is for us mortals down here on Earth would certainly make sense to me. But let's give it a listen and see what it's all about. This is Deeptronica. The track is Time Squared, and it's from the 2009 Deeptronica album. Again, it's short. It's got to be like 3 minutes maybe. Yeah, like 2.5. And again, it's Sybient. It's Sybient down tempo. It's a tune that could fit in my ambient excursion mixes. Though again, there is that aspect of them being so short that it almost feels like a transitional tune. Now, to be fair, when I make those mixes, sometimes if a tune is especially short, I use it as the opening track or the closing track of a mix. And to be fair also, I have used one of the Deeptronica tunes in a mix. It was, I think, 2 ambient excursions ago. Nevertheless, again, it is very much of the album. It feels like we're exploring in space. It feels like a tune that could be in Mass Effect, and I think by 2009, at least the first Mass Effect game was already out, if not the first 2, definitely the first one. And if you don't know what Mass Effect is, it's this big galactic action meets role-playing game. It's a bit of both. You go around, you meet people, you have to accomplish tasks, you build up a force, and it's a very long game, but the gameplay itself is more like action-based, like when you actually are in a combat scene. So yeah, not like a traditional role-playing game, but it's great, and it is the spiritual successor to Star Control 2, and folks who know my channel will know that I am hugely fond of that game. I did a full playthrough of it here on YouTube, so yeah, it's the kind of tune that could very much be in a spacefaring video game and also a Sybient down-tempo mix. And I enjoy, especially there was like one little keyboard flourish that I loved, and then some other, little electronic signals running through the track, not constant, and not even necessarily like, every other bar where it's kind of like a mainstay, more of like a little sound filtering through the tune, a signal coming from some planet. And I enjoy the breakdown. There's a couple different sounds that have this sort of fragmented, chopped up feel, and then it like rolls back into the the full down tempo rhythm. So I enjoy the chronology of the tune as well. Again, it's just very much what this album is all about. And I say that, and we have one more tune to go. So the next time we listen to Deeptronica, it will, alas, be the last track on the album. But once more, a massive thank you to Han Solo, who brought this to my attention and provided the material, because I would have loved this album no matter what, but knowing that it came from Vince Clarke, an artist who I loved his music from my earliest days of paying attention to music and buying cassette tapes, it's just cool to know that he eventually, tried his hand, and rather well, at a style of music that's come to be one of my very favorite of all time. So yeah, another top tune. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.